Hey, Tom, Legacy Toolworks here. I've got a munted eye. Injured it the other day. Okay, let's get on with the episode. Today's episode, or pilot episode of Legacy Toolworks show, or Tool Time, is Show and Tell. So, this is what I've been getting up to over the past few months, beginning on this journey, and I'm glad you followed me today. So, my first project was a 4-inch utility blade. This was the one that I made out of a handsaw, old rusted handsaw blade, so that's recycled. Bends quite a lot, a bit of thumb jimping in there. Need to smooth that out a bit, but serves a purpose. So standard straight blade geometry or shape. The handle scales, there's no sheath by the way, it's just raw. The handle scales are Queeler decking and fixed in place with epoxy and Allen key bolt and nut ×2. A lot of learning lessons from this one, but the main one was don't use this type of steel for this job. Extremely hard to drill through and very difficult to shape due to its flexibility and general hardness. So yeah, served the purpose. I learned quite a lot from this very enjoyable project for the most part, but it was more a lesson of what not to do. So that's the first one. Okay, second project. There'll be a bit of a side-by-side comparison. Guess what the hell that is? Well, it was made out of one of these. A gate gudgeon. So these gate gudgeons are typically known as, well, gate gudgeons or gate pins. You can see the similarity here. What I did with this one was, I'll put that aside. What I did with this one was originally cutting off the, how can I say, or smoothing down the coarse threading that the nut and washer go up. Shaft and head, the whole thing is approximately 13 to 14 inches. I'm not sure what steel it's made of, but I wanted to try something new, try something different, and this is more of a carpentry / demolition tool. It's got a 16mm striking face. All the design lines are there, you can see. I like to keep every learning lesson visible. Kind of a raw ground steel look going on with the timber demolition spike. So effectively had a fun day in the garage or workshop, just grinding this out and making it into something else. So useful tool or intended purpose could be to rip open a pallet or to demolish a small cabinet of some sort, or something else of the like. So 16mm threading, good fun. So that's the other one. Okay, so third project. I had a go at making my own laminated plastic, or some people call it micarta. So here she is. I'm not going for looks here, I'm just going for experimentation and functionality. So this one is made from HT9000 Epiglass epoxy resin. A 4-bolt tension only sheath design. So the sheath, that's better, isn't it? The sheath is only held together by its two parts from these 4 hex bolt and nuts. So bits of micarta there. Yes, I know it's ugly as hell, but this is just my learning stages, okay? I got all the design marks there, all the progress descriptions of what goes where and how this goes. So it's all about the education of it. It's got a leg strap which fits everything nice and snug. So your belt will go underneath this piece here, right through. You can, since it's not glued, you can actually adjust the tension of the sheath entirely with a 10mm socket set, I believe, or a pair of 10mm sockets, or you can do it with a adjustable crescent. So actually it's I would count it as field adjustable. So that's great. Enough about the sheath. The blade itself is approximately 8 1/4 inch, I think, long, the blade length. This is made from Y posts or Waratah posts packaging steel. So none of these knives or tools that I've made so far are actually suitable for proper hard tool use, but it's the geometry, it's the learning, it's the different techniques that I'm trying to focus on here. And also, knife making steel proper stuff is actually quite expensive, so I'm working on it, trust me guys. Okay, so it's a stepped, as you can see the blade line there, it's a stepped down, for the most part, convex grind or profile down there, you might be able to see. The steel is approximately 3.5 mils thick, fixed in place by custom micarta or laminated plastic and stainless steel M5 hex bolt and nut. Great learning curve this one, quite a lot of fun making a larger knife than the other one. One mistake though that I will learn from is the handle geometry. Comments below if you can spot it, but I'm going to spoil it anyway. The middle ridge, or I'm going to say swell, but that's probably not the right term. This middle section here, just here, protrudes too much. It interferes with the grip of the middle and index fingers a lot. It's actually quite advantageous up here for fine work. It's very nice there, but for chopping down there, it's actually quite tricky to get around. But for the most part, had a lot of fun, learned heaps. Okay, that's that one. One-handed operation is awkward sometimes, so bear with me. Okay, so next project. I'll try and go a bit faster. A World War I looking, someone said on another page I visited that I showcased this, they said it looked pretty World War I, and I can almost see why. Quila decking sheath. So Quila is a Indonesian hardwood, I believe. Pretty rustic looking leg strap, but they all work. It's the functionality I'm going for. The same 4-bolt tension only, no glue required design. All the design lines are there, all the marks are there of my process, which I intend to keep on most of these. So as you can see, held together with tension, doesn't come out very easily, but that's all part of the design at hand. So same Y-post steel packaging, steel made of that. This one's just over 3mm thick, I think. First time I had a go at, or had an attempt at scale pins instead of bolt and nut. So Quila decking handle. These are actually just standard galvanized nails that I've obviously fixed into place while epoxying, so that was a bit of a multitask there. Yeah, so that's all the way through, ground into place. You can see all the grind marks there and finishing marks to get them level, so I don't nick my hands and injure my fingers on them. So yeah, that was good fun. Just a side note, this little guard is handy. I decided to put that in for safety's sake, and it actually locks into place in the sheath quite well. So without it, it wouldn't fix into place as well. See where it ridges over? It's got a little nick inside the, or little gap inside the sheath for it, just in that part there. You won't see it, but it adds to the tension of the sheath to keep the blade in place. Cool, so that's that. I'll try and go as fast as I can. Okay, so this one's a bit of a cheat. You might be able to see why when I open it. Okay, so this one's tight all the way through. There we go. So this is what I call a mini shetty, or yeah, anyway. I admit I kind of cheated on this, but the objective, I guess, of this project wasn't actually to make something from scratch. It was to experiment with metal fixingless or no fixings in the handle. It was freehand epoxying. That's what I wanted to try. Speaking too fast here. So that's all just epoxied in place. This is from a so-called heavy gauge machete that I actually cracked. This was originally meant to be a double-handed thing, but I thought, since I cracked it, okay, I've damaged it, how can I salvage this? So a bit of an adaptability exercise there, but I managed to make something of it, and I'm quite happy with it. So that's your pretty standard cheap machete steel, let's be real. But yeah, the exercise was mainly to focus on a handle, experiment with a handle that's not fixed in place by anything apart from epoxy. So a bit of a freehand exercise there. The sheath itself, Quila decking wood again, but this time I made my own little nylon strapping rig here. Simply put, it's fixed in place with, as you can see there, hex, bolt and nut and washers to keep it from ripping the nylon here. It works. It's quite low profile. I wanted to try something a bit less bulky than your Quila belt straps there. As you can see, it's quite large, quite protruding. I wanted to try something a bit flatter, a bit bit lower profile. This works quite well. I'm not sure if it's as durable as the Quila or the Maikata ones, but it's an experiment. It's a learning curve, so you get what you get. This is Quila decking wood finished with rice bran oil, so just a cheap domestic alternative to your lacquers and finishes that lots of people go on about. But hey, it's about the learning. It's about how things look, not as much as how things perform and how to actually make the stuff. So that comes apart nice and easy. This is very snug fit, so don't let it go underneath. I won't let it go underneath like a jersey or anything. I'll keep it on the outside, nice and slim, nice and fit. So that's that. Cool, last two. The last two, that can stay there. Okay, so this one I made a mistake on the tension side of the the sheath. As you can see, it comes right out, but hey, I'm still learning. One of my favorite blade geometries or shapes is cleavers, square ones in particular with straight spines and no curvature. This was a long exercise in combination of grinding and filing with angle grinder and hand files, mainly hand files. Just being up front, this is made from a engineering type of strengthening strap. So I haven't heat treated any of these. I'm just going for the learning here. I will get to that at some stage, but it is what it is at the moment. This is fixed in place with its scales with M6 by 30 hex bolt and nut. So that's pretty common. They're just a nice size and they're pretty sturdy, so I thought I'd go with it. Quila decking handle, finished with rice bran oil, and I left the groove marks in there mainly for grip, because it actually does kind of help, but it actually looks pretty reasonable. So yeah, anyway, this is approximately 5mm thick. So it's quite substantial in hand. It's about 7 inches in blade length, I believe, just over 7. And there's kind of useless little holes there, but that's actually part of the strap. I did not add those holes in. They were there originally. What else is there? Okay, so I decided to add a convex. The blade profile is relatively convex. I'm still working on getting it even. But yeah, so it's got a continuing right angle blade going across there. Not as deep a bevel, but it serves a purpose, whatever that may be. I just thought I'd add it in there because more blade surface is generally, for the most part, in this case, better. But yeah, so tell me what you think about that. This sheath I actually repaired somewhat. You can see all the process and process markings I've made there. This is your same tension only required 4-bolt design. This works quite well when you're dealing with basic and hand tools like I am at this stage, because budgeting for more expensive tools is something that takes time, but I'll get there. Leg strap works very well. You've got your belt loops under there, but yet again quite chunky, not very low profile at all, but it's more the experimentation that matters. So that's that one there. Okay, so last project to show you that actually this one is not quite there yet. This is a work in progress, so it's another cleaver. Let's get that out of the way. I like cleavers, as you can probably tell. This is another 4-bolt design sheath, tension only required, so quite cool. I'll show you just how tight it is. So even if it's partially opened, it takes a lot to shake it out. Here we go. Come on. And even then I have to hit it, and then it just falls out, So that one, I think I nailed the tension quite well. Succeeded in that area. So putting it back in. All right, so it's another cleaver, a lower profile belt loop rig design here with leg strap, of course, because I usually try and make a leg strap to help with drawing it out. But this is another, get down, this is another engineering strap or plate design material. So unknown as to what steel it is, but I found it in a store. It's 5.5 mil thick. Oh no, it's 6 mil, that's right. So that one's thinner, this one's thicker. It just feels very substantial on hand. It's 9-inch blade, 9.5 inch actually, with that same blade continuation on the top. Oh, the sun's streaming through, that's nice. So you've got more surface area, and if you need to cut things at the front, you can. Quila hardwood timber. This one's actually got a slight palm swell, as you might be able to see. Just maybe there. Just there. Very slight palm swell. Just experimenting with handle geometry and how it feels in the hand, how the design works. After all, you're dealing with the real world and physics, so you've got to make it work as best you can. Cheeky little lanyard hole like the last one, and that in the base of the handle there. Yeah, so this one was a lot of fun. It's still not done yet, so I'll have to sharpen it up and basically clean it up, as well as the sheath. Nice, there we are. So that's that one. All the process marks are all there. It's all about the learning after all. And yeah, a low profile or lower profile 4-bolt tension sheath. So what's coming up? I intend to do some creative exercises with lawnmower blades. Okay, so getting creative with these. Don't worry about that one. That might not work. Anyway, so this one. I intended to do a one blade design for the entire lawnmower blade, like that one, but this one I've split into two, using the hole in the middle to my advantage as a dividing line between the tools. So as you can see, there's a bit of a mark there. This is just chalk outlines. It's pretty rough and ready, but it is what it is. So this one would be held somewhat like this. See there? So horse foot or sheep's foot, I think it is. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. Tip design there. So it comes down and then all the way back. Approximately, I think it's a 5.5 inch design, blade length. But anyway, so that'll be held like this. And on the other side is a standard straight version of the same thing. So using the back of the other blade, you've got your back of the handle and will be held as such. Whoop. Watch that camera. Held as such like this. So that's what's coming up. One last thing would be, I've been visiting lawnmower shops, scrap steel dealers, as you can see, engineering outfits, that sort of thing, and I came across a place which I'm very grateful for, that gave me some spring steel. Now, tell me what's wrong with that, or what's a bit unusual. That's what's unusual about it. It's 10 millimeters thick, or 10 and a half. It's spring steel, it's scrap that they had on board, that they kindly gave me, so thank you very much. You know who you are. This is an experiment in thick, short tool designs. So this one may or may not work. I'm hoping it will, but if I can source a if I can rig a source of heat, or get enough blow torches, or design a way to heat this up enough to actually get it beyond, to get it, you know, non-magnetic and to heat treat it appropriately, this will be fantastic. But I'm still looking for more blow torches, trade map gas preferred. But yeah, so this is something to watch the space, I guess. But yeah, that'll be fun. I'm looking forward to actually getting this one completed, but being as full on as life is, I'll get to it when I can. Cool, so that sums up today's episodes, the first show episode instead of podcasting of Legacy Toolworks. I hope you've enjoyed yourself. Leave a comment down below if you've got anything to say about the designs or my process or my learning journey. Thumbs up and subscribe as you can. Really appreciate that, and let me know what you think about my journey, or anything you've seen here, or any suggestions coming up about what's coming up. legacytoolworks@gmail.com. The email address is in the description box, as well as yeah, it's in the description box. Cool. So I look forward to catching up with you guys next time, and keep creating, and until then, bye bye.